Hello, I'm Elizabeth Nancy Jansen, and today is day 6 of the 22 Days of Truths. And this is all leading up to the August 17th official launch of my book, Bride Doll. And I'm very excited about all this prep and all these days of truths that I'm doing to excite you, the reader, and the people on my Facebook group and on YouTube, doing the reading and the enlightenment of Bride Doll. So let's get down to the day of truth. And today's topic is, the truth is that I, Elizabeth Nancy Jansen, I need intimacy in my relationship. And today I have it. And previously in my relationships, I did not have it. I did not know the extent of what I needed. I did not know the full definition in the practical sense of what intimacy was for myself. And now I do. And intimacy, I like the way Esther Perel has defined intimacy. And Esther Perel is an international renowned psychologist, and she is an international speaker and clinical therapist and has been for, I think, 30 years. She's just a wonderful speaker, and I really learn a great deal from her. And when she talks about intimacy, she breaks it down into syllables. Into me, see. That's how she defines it. And I like the way she uses that word intimacy and captures it into me, see. So now I'm going to bring it back to Bride Doll when we look at that. And we know the characters I want to tell you about the characters again, Monique and Flynn. And they have a very sexual relationship. Not that the book is erotic, it's certainly a romance novel, but it's not in the erotic category at all. But you can sense and feel their chemistry. Definitely they have a chemistry, and that certainly is enticing in the romance novel and making it a very rich, if I do say so myself as the author, making it a rich love story. And the chemistry is certainly so enticing to each of them in their relationship. And of course, I, as a person in my relationship and my previous relationships, really needed that and wanted that. But much more needs to go with that. That's what I had to learn. So let's go back to the book. And I'm in the chapter of the wedding day. So now they are arrived at their evening night. So going back to if you can reflect back on your wedding night, but here we are with Flynn loved her long neck and surrendered to her radiant beauty. Monique's pink suit jacket gently dropped onto the old wooden floor. The skirt easily unzipped, and she stepped out of it, leaving her long, lanky legs illuminated by the luster of her fine French hosiery. As they embraced, Monique could feel the bonding to Flynn's intensify as their bodies united in marital beauty and passionate bliss. Flynn hadn't expected Monique to up her game in her sexual prowess following their wedding. At that moment, he was blindsided by how extensive his new wife's intimacy and ability to make love had evolved. Monique was a far cry from any other he had known. She owned her passion. So that's how the wedding day chapter ends. So that was part of their intimacy. What I wanted to go on to talk about intimacy is in my own connection. So I want to bring that conversation back to the truth, the 22 days of truth, and the talk about how I need intimacy in my relationship, and how over the course of my learnings of my love journey is that in my first relationship, that was something certainly in the early days of the connection to my first love, to my first marriage. That was part, much like Monique and Flynn. However, once into the marriage, that became an issue of control. That if I behaved, then there was a connection. Then there was a connection, a communication. But if I didn't behave or do what was expected of me, if I stepped out of line, so I needed to walk on eggshells. So for example, if I didn't do what was expected, if I stepped out of what I was supposed to do, and do it extremely well, then I would be put in, I wouldn't be spoken to for 3 days or a week. I would be ignored and treated badly. So there was a total disconnect. Well, when there's a total disconnect, there's no intimacy, So even if there's an expectation of something going on between the sheets in the evening, how is that supposed to be intimate? How is that? So do you see what I'm saying? So going forward to the relationship I have now, there is total connection. There is total connection throughout the day. I wouldn't even go into a relationship without wonderful connection. And where does that wonderful connection happen? From the first hello, and that's where your intentions are set from the very beginning. In preparation, I did a lot of preparation of development before I even met the man who is my husband today. So, and I knew what my intentions were. I knew what my core values were. And I know what my desires were. And, I have more than 55 desires that I knew that I wanted in a relationship. And one of those desires, one of those 55 desires was, I desire intimacy. I need deep intimacy in my relationship. And I can divine that. And I need a man who wants that as well. So into me see is not being self-centered. No, not that at all. It's the connection. It's the connection. And, a life of walking on eggshells. No, that's exactly what I've learned from. That is something I will not do, will absolutely not do again. I will run from a relationship with that. I would certainly encourage anyone from a coaching or anyone reading the book to recognize that behavior and say, absolutely, I will not do that again. That is a big red flag. Anyone whose expectation is to behave in a manner that you are intuitively opposed to, that doesn't suit your core value. No, that is a person who does not deserve you, and to walk away and stay away. So into me see is something very, very important, something I'm passionate about. And, my partner, he needs intimacy too. Into me see. And it's not all about me, it's about him as well. And it's about us. Into us, I see, and I nurture that, and I love it about us. I want to keep that light burning, and it's about love. It all comes back to love. I love my partner, and he loves me, and we cherish each other. And so I need intimacy, and that's my truth. And I wanted to share that with you. And, as a love relationship coach, I want to help you find your truths. And maybe this is something that's important to you too, and to not hold back on something that's important to you. And, as chemistry, yes, it's a piece of it, but there's so much more that's involved with intimacy. And I hope I've shed some light on that today. So much love from Elizabeth.